Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. Google's Dragonfly is no more. The company's secret search engine has been swatted away. Have you recently made yourself look old on the internet? Well, now that company owes that picture, and some people are concerned there's a privacy issue.
Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
Hashtag TrumpIsAracist. His supporters chant, "Send her back, send her back." They're talking about a Muslim congresswoman. Hashtag I stand with Ilhan trends. And is this the best looking goat you've ever seen? The internet says so, so it must be right. And top of our newsfeed, Dragonfly. It was Google's code name for its Chinese search engine, a search engine that would have been compliant with the Great Firewall of China. But when the news of its development leaked, there were protests by Google engineers and anger on social media. And it seems like Google bosses have listened, or they've been leaned on by the US government, which has engaged a trade war with China. Either way, Dragonfly has been squashed. Here's Karen.
Google's plan to launch a censored search engine in China has been cancelled. The project was said to have been stopped last year, but rumours have persisted it remained active, just in secret. On Wednesday, in a congressional hearing, a Google executive confirmed Project Dragonfly was finished.
But since you mentioned Project Dragonfly, why don't you tell us about it? Is it active right now?
It's not, Senator.
You're able to say that for the record. It's not active. You've abandoned Project Dragonfly?
Yes, we have terminated that.
A Google spokesman later told journalists that the company had no future plans to enter the Chinese market. Google was largely suspended in China almost a decade ago. According to the government there, China now has around 800 million people using the internet. Google had been working on a Chinese search engine prototype that would align with the Chinese version of the internet. One employee called it disturbing because it would censor web content and monitor citizens' behavior. Leaked documents published by The Intercept last year indicated that Google engineers had been working on ways of filtering out news websites. That work has led to concerns by US lawmakers that Google can't be trusted to avoid ideological suppression.
We are a trusted brand. I don't know what answer you're looking for, but it's...
Well, what I'm looking for is a little honesty, and what I'm also looking for is some accountability. So let me just...
Now, have you done it yet? Snapped a selfie and then abracadabra, seen a chilling vision of your future self. Now, this is me, and all it's done is confirm that I'm going to look like my dad when I get old, which is kind of what I figured anyway. But there is something more interesting about this story than just old face. It's got a conspiracy theory, and with many good conspiracy theories, it involves the Russians too. Here's Adama.
This is pretty much what social media looks like right now. Some software called FaceApp is the latest frenzy. It allows users to change their appearance using various filters. In 2017, it was called out for a feature that allowed users to change their ethnicity. Now the same developer, Wireless Lab, is behind the hashtag Age Challenge. It uses artificial intelligence to show what you could look like decades into the future.
I really hope I don't look like that. What the? They make me look like I had a hard life. Oh no, I don't like this picture. No, I am not giving you guys good feedback.
More than 100 million people have used the app already. According to app analytics and market data platform App Annie, FaceApp is ranked top on the iOS store in 121 countries. But has curiosity trumped caution? Concerns about data protection on social media loom large. FaceApp's terms of service say people still own their content, but the company has an irrevocable royalty-free license to do what it wants with that content. And these concerns are amplified once people realize the FaceApp developer is Russian. US Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has called on the FBI and the Federal Trade Commission to investigate the company's links with the Russian government. FaceApp's response? According to the site 9to5Mac, the company says it may store some photos for performance and traffic reasons, but that user data is not transferred to Russia. So, if you choose not to take part in the #Age Challenge using FaceApp for privacy reasons, that's fine. But don't get too comfy. Chances are your face is already in a database somewhere without your knowledge. Google researchers have disclosed they used 2,000 YouTube videos from the Mannequin Challenge to help train an AI model on motion. So, do our faces really belong to us anymore?
And next, Donald Trump went to North Carolina yesterday for one of his rallies, and when he began attacking Muslim Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, this happened.
Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
Well, this is America in 2019. People chanting, "Send her back," about a black female politician with their president's encouragement. It shows his tweets have real-world consequences. Now, tens of thousands of his supporters are openly and loudly calling for an elected American congresswoman to be sent back to the country she was born in. Her name's Ilhan Omar. She went to America as a refugee from Somalia. Now, the responses have been strong. This from Bernie Sanders, who's running for president. He writes, "I stand with Ilhan," and that Trump is stoking the most despicable and disturbing currents in America, and that it's hatred and racism which fuel him, and that he is a dangerous president. Sean King says, "This is a modern-day Klan rally, and those Make America Great Again hats are modern-day Klan hoods. Only they're not hiding because they have a president who is an open, flagrant racist and bigot." And this from Mehdi Hassan, who writes, "They're trying to get Ilhan Omar killed. It's that simple." Okay, here are some other things that we saw on social media. Charges brought against the actor Kevin Spacey have been dropped. They're related to an apparent incident at a restaurant during which Spacey supposedly groped an 18-year-old man. The accusations were made while the actor was already being accused of other suspected sexual assaults and while he was losing jobs and being written out of films. The news that Game of Thrones got so many Emmy nominations yesterday was quite a thing, and it turns out that three of the actors, Alfie Allen, Gwendolyn Christie and Caris Van Houten, aka Theon Greyjoy, Brienne of Tarth and Melisandre, all submitted themselves for consideration. Their employer, HBO, didn't think them worthy, but their agents did, so they paid the $225 each to put the three of them forward, and all of them were nominated. Now this is Jerry Foxhaven. He's 66 years old and obsessed with Tupac Shakur. Some people on the internet think that fascination is what forced him to resign as director of the Iowa Department of Human Services. He regularly sent all of his emails using Tupac lyrics, instigated Tupac Fridays where he would play the rapper's music, and was given cookies for his 65th birthday with Tupac's face on them and the words, "Thug Life." He was asked to resign a day after sending an email telling employees to be sure to celebrate the rapper's birthday by listening to one of his songs. And this time, 50 years ago, three men were closing in on that big rock in the sky. They would land on July the 20th and make global headlines. Here's how some people around the world remember that amazing day back in 1969.
Do I remember the moon landing? You bet I do.
I was 6 years old, and I remember my mother telling me that we were about to see something that people had never ever imagined could ever happen.
My dad, who was never impressed by anything, pointed up to the moon to say to me, "Son, they are landing a man on the moon for the first time ever right this second." That's what everybody is all excited about.
I was a 13-year-old boy from Milan, Italy, who watched that incredible adventure on TV.
I first learned about men landing on the moon when I saw the picture of the 3 astronauts in a window display of the United States Information Service in Georgetown, Malaysia, halfway around the world.
My grandmother came into my room in the middle of the night and said I had to come with her outside. She pointed out the moon and said, right now, Neil Armstrong was stepping out of a spacecraft.
I immediately went outside with a pair of binoculars to stare at the moon to see if I could see Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. You know, when you're young, anything is possible.
I got so excited at that point in time. I was like, okay, I know what I want to be. I want to be an astronaut.
I grew up in Johannesburg, South Africa. The country had no television service until the mid-1970s. So I watched TV for the very first time when I visited Europe with my parents in July 1969. How breathtaking it was to not only see images flicker across the screen, but in a stroke of good timing, those images were of Neil Armstrong's walk on the moon.
My memory of the Apollo moon landing is probably going to be very different because I was not in the United States. I was a 5-year-old child in Mumbai, India in 1969. We did not have a television. We did not see the event live. My family and some family friends, we all saw the event a few months later, probably October or November 1969.
I do still look forward to regular people being able to go to the moon sometime. And I hope that'll happen. And so when I think about the moon, I do think of optimism. I think of an expanded horizon for humanity.
And it's around the world we go for some other stories you need to know this Thursday. A hacker has been arrested in Bulgaria for breaking into the country's tax agency computers. Apparently, nearly all 7 million Bulgarian taxpayers had their data compromised. The man arrested has been identified as Christian Boykov. He's 20 and is known to the Bulgarians because he hacked the country's education department computers a few years back to expose the lax security there. He was reportedly thanked for that by the education minister at the time. Elon Musk gave a presentation on Wednesday in which he said his company Neuralink was applying to regulators to begin clinical trials. The idea is to attach a microprocessor to the brain that can link thoughts to a computer and create an action like someone paralyzed being able to control a CPU using their minds. It's been tested on chimps and the scientists say it worked. It's amazing sci-fi barrier-breaking stuff, and in the first instance, the chip will be connected to an iPhone, which Musk joked about during his presentation.
And then the interface to the chip is wireless, so you have no wires poking out of your head. Very, very important. So it's basically Bluetooth to your phone. Because we'll have to watch the App Store updates for that one. Make sure we don't have a driver issue.
Now, there's a conspiracy theory in the US that says the country has weaponized ticks, and one of the nation's elected officials, a guy called, asked the Department of Defense to investigate if they ever worked on a secret tick-borne bioweapon. Illnesses caused by tick bites are on the increase in the US. The reason for this is more urbanization and of areas where wild ticks are there, and increasingly warm temperatures that are favorable for ticks. But looking into bioweapons may be the answer too. I don't think so. Now, Cambodia has become the latest country to say it will return the trash dumped on it by the United States and Canada. 1,600 tons of it. China was once the dumping ground for the rich world, but they were happy to take it. But then Donald Trump increased his rhetoric and instigated his trade war against China, and they declared they would be the dumping ground no more. So other places in Asia were used, and now those places are like, nah, you can have it back. And we have an animals doing stuffy today, and this one is being handsome for the internet. Now, this guy is called Harini Ramos, and he's being put up as the most handsome goat on the net. Now, I didn't know there was a competition for that, but maybe I go to the wrong websites. Anyway, Harini Ramos not only has 2 names, which is weird for a goat, he also has his own Facebook page. He's a Saanen, and they're from Switzerland. Now, some people are comparing this guy to a Korean pop star, which is a disrespect. But to who? And that is all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe, and add. See you again tomorrow.